I want to have like a very transparent conversation today about like just standards and health and just things I just feel like we've been told to like tolerate in relationships that are actually killing our partners, right? For a long time I didn't want to come across as judgmental. I never do. I see a man smoke a cigarette or weed and I'll tell myself that's his business. But I'm at a point in my life where I just have to be real. I prefer a partner who does not smoke. Let's talk about the cigarettes first. Statistics in 2026 are still staggering. Now we're looking at a habit that literally fast tracks you to cancer. Okay. Now, according to the CDC, cigarette smoking is responsible for more than 40. What is it? 480 480,000 deaths per year, and this is in the United States alone. Okay, so that's 1 in 5 deaths. Okay, so when you smoke, you aren't just relaxing, right? You are voluntarily shortening your lifespan. And what's crazy is the surge in warnings, right? So the boxes literally tells you this is going to kill you. The commercials show you the truth, and yet nicotine is so addictive, right? People still choose to pack over their health. And I know you've seen the videos. You've seen people walking around with what's called the Electrolarynx. That's the device I'm talking about. It's like a handheld medical tool, and that people have to press right against their throat just to be able to speak, because their vocal cords or their larynx were destroyed by cancer. So if you've seen someone have to use a machine to say I love you, why would you ever put yourself through that? So my self-appointed mentor is a guy named Tony Gaskins. Look him up on YouTube. He's amazing. He said something that really stuck with me, right? So he said, he compared a nicotine addiction to being a crackhead. And before people get offended, all right, just look at the behavior. If you can't function without a substance, so if you're irritable, if you're shaky, if you lose because you haven't had a hit of nicotine, how is that different from any other hard drug? Nicotine hooks your brain's dopamine receptors so fast that most people can't just have one cigarette a week, right? It becomes a dependency that dictates your mood, literally. And then there's weed. I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I've experimented with it myself and I realized I hated it, right? So I literally, one day, I recorded myself once and I looked spaced the fuck out, right? I look dumb. And that's the problem I have with it in a partner. I've seen men who are brilliant, absolute nerds, geniuses, high level thinkers turn into total dunce the minute they light up. And they're laughing at the smallest, most insignificant things, and they lose that sharp, intelligent edge that made them attracted to me in the first place. But the real deal breaker for me is a dependency. I once dated someone who smoked every single day. A couple of people smoked every single day. And the second they ran out, one in particular, he became a monster. I remember playing around. I was just playing and I hid his weed once. And the level of rage that he showed, he was ready to put hands on me over a plant. That is insane. That is not recreational use. That's an addiction, right? I almost choked my lungs out trying a cigarette before I was 10 years old. And that curiosity was enough to keep me clean for the rest of my life. And I'm so thankful for that moment because it taught me that my lungs are a gift, not a chimney. I'm not here to judge your journey, but I am here to set my standard. I don't want a partner who is dependent on a substance to regulate their emotions. I don't want to worry about if my partner is going to develop a preventable cancer. I want someone who is present, who is clear-headed, and who values their life as much as I value mine. If you need a patch or if you need a device just to get through the day, you aren't a partner. You're a patient. I said what I said. And I'm looking for a teammate, not someone I have to nurse through an addiction that they chose.